Ann Kramer. This is my better half.
Donald Kramer. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day.
Absolutely. It's been beautiful on both sides of the country from what I hear today. It's been beautiful, starting to feel some of that nice fall weather. It's not so hot, not so incredibly stifling. And we are just thrilled tonight to be able to have our special guest with us, Mr. Mark Larsen. Welcome, Mark. We're so happy to have you with us tonight.
Well, thanks for having me on your podcast. I look forward to this greatly.
Well, good, good. I know you and I had the opportunity here recently to have a great conversation on your podcast. So,
We
hey,
did.
we're just we're having a good old time together these days.
Yes.
And I think I'm going to go right to what you sent me because it's a great little write up here. It says, "I am Mark Rudd Larsen of Minden, Nebraska. We have not been out there, but maybe one day we will need to get there.
Yep.
Host of the Dream Catcher, the podcast. I've always been a people person. In fact, I love people. And that's why it pains me so much when I meet so many people who have given up or forgotten their dreams. It seems that we get so into the hype and process of making a living that we forget everything else. I feel that you can actually make money, have lots of fun doing it while making a positive difference in the world, all without selling out your soul."
That sounds great.
That is exactly where we sit. I'd have to say, Mark, that you sound like a brother from another mother.
That's awesome. Thank you. I love that.
Good deal. Good deal. So we are so happy to have you. But I would love to hear just a little bit about your journey. What led you to this place and this understanding of how we've become such a lost population when it comes to our dreams?
I think we still today we kind of do this the traditional: go to school, get a job, and then maybe not make enough money, or life happens, and we need to work more. So it's like, well, someday I'm going to have enough to do that trip, or I'm going to do whatever, start this business. And then one day it leads to a 1 month, 1 year, and then a lifetime. And it just doesn't occur. And a lot of people, they've gotten so busy that they've dismissed it because it's like, well, this is never going to happen. And that's kind of how I got started. Cheryl, my wife, she had cancer back in 2015, 2016. And it was advanced colon cancer. And it was because we were actually getting ready to go for our 25th wedding anniversary to Europe. We were going to go to England for 10 days. And we were getting physicals and everything. And I think the trip probably saved Cheryl's life. But because it was pretty much everywhere. It was definitely advanced. But they had her in there, and the expense of the cancer treatments were immense. And she beat it. I mean, like I told you the other day, I believe that she's way tougher than I am. And but it's just like, okay, because it was intense chemo they put her on. And we started taking the small trips because we'd always wanted to travel. We'd always done those. That someday I'm going to travel the world and do all this. And we kind of started doing that to get her mind off of, because she wasn't feeling the best. And she was losing her hair. And for a while there, she had less hair than I did. And it was just like, okay, we're doing this now. We didn't know where the money was going to come from. And we had insurance. And which didn't do a lot of good. I mean, it was there, but it wasn't. But it's just like, got the trips. We really like the little trips, and that's one thing. Oh, just start, your dreams. But we did that, and then she got over it and recovered. And we still have yet to do that the trip to England. That is the travel agent still has that. But it's just like, okay, we did that when you were ill. And we found the money to do that, because we had to. And it's just like, so if we can do it for that, we need to find the money for traveling and everything. And that's kind of what got started. And it just like, and I've always, like I said, I love people. I like helping people. And everybody's like, how did you do that? How did you travel? I had people asking me that. And it's just like, you just make it a non-negotiable. It just has to happen. And if nothing else, do a little bit each day to get you to that point. And then the last year, Cheryl and I went to Italy, and that was, we wouldn't have, yeah, Italy is awesome. It was hard to come back to Nebraska. And, but, before the cancer, I don't know if we'd have taken the trip to Italy because we'd have said it was too much money. We'd have done the someday. So actually, everything, that cancer was a blessing because it got us off, it kind of got us back to, believing that was possible and just to do it. And I just see so many people that they just don't do it. They are so busy, and they just the some days. And that's why I wanted to put this podcast, my Dreamcatcher podcast, out there to show people that have, and people that are around the world doing positive things. And that's how the podcast, and that's kind of where I got to where I'm at today. Just showing people and believing, that it is possible for everybody. It may not be easy, but it's possible.
Absolutely. Commitment is the big word, right?
Yes.
You have to get committed. You have to decide that, this is it. And we're going to make it happen. You do. And it's amazing, that I've heard people say in the past, if you happen to be a believer, and all of us here are, if you step towards God, God steps towards you.
Amen.
But
yes.
You gotta let him know that this is where we're going, and show us how to get there, and we'll follow it.
and that was another thing with this podcast, Dreamcatcher, because this past year, since we've gotten back from Italy, things have gotten a little stressful for our money situation. And I know you guys can relate from after talking to you the other day. And that's when I started talking to God pretty much daily. And he's like, I'm going to come to you. He says, I'm coming to you to use your podcast as a forum, kind of, to get to people that aren't going to church and other places. And he pretty much directs me daily. And that has worked out so well in the last year. And then I basically, because it's been the only choice, surrendered on a lot of things, that because the money's not been there, and it's been very humbling to go through what we've gone through last year. And it's just like, now I'm so much more at peace because of that, because it's just like, I just give it to God, like the old, and it's just been, it's been awesome. And I know Cheryl she's not to that point, and she prays that she does get to that point someday. And, but I think she probably thinks someday I'm kind of crazy when I said, well, I've talked to him, and he told me a bunch of things yesterday, what I need to do to help kids and people around the world, especially the United States. Cause you really got me thinking the other day with what you told me, statistics and stuff. So.
Yeah, the statistics. Yeah, we're wearing our billboard shirts today because we've been out promoting Ignite the Spark, and cool. We've shared quite a bit with you in the past about how we're out here on the suicide prevention mission. And I'd love to hear some of your perspectives. I mean, I know you were kind of shocked, and we keep trying to reverbalize this because so many people have never heard it, but right here where we are in North Carolina, suicide is the second leading cause of death of our 10 to 18-year-olds. And that is just, it's totally unacceptable.
They're just kids. They
definitely
really haven't experienced life.
Nope, not at all. And then, of course, this is my Marine Corps veteran, and veterans, we've lost a lot of them.
Yes.
Well, so all of these folks, and it's hitting every demographic out there. So, I know I have my thoughts about this, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. How do you feel? Do you feel there's some kind of a correlation between so many people stuffing their dreams into the closet and this uptick in suicide that we're seeing now?
I think it does. I think it does a lot, because it kind of, with the parents or the guardians or whatever, when they kind of give up on life, I think it kind of trickles down to the children, because the home's probably not as happy. Mom and dad or whatever, whoever's taking care of the kids, it's like, what do I have to look forward to? And I know we talked the other day with negativity, and I think this country has a lot of negativity because, with inflation and and being on the phone and social media all the time, I think that that doesn't help. But But no, I think giving up the dreams, because that dream, it kind of keeps you going on those hard days, those difficult days, because it's like, well, I'm going to go to, like Italy, or go whatever your dream might be. It's like you push through maybe more. But if you have nothing to look forward to, I mean, I would be more negative than I am, and I'm usually pretty positive. But I have to have something to look forward to. I have to have a dream, even if it's a smaller dream. Maybe going to Portugal, which we've been invited to in October. So I hope, yeah, that's something to. But even a small dream, it's just like, and some of these parents, single parents or whatever, it's just like maybe having new clothes, or having meals. I just know that even in this area that we have so many people struggling, and you don't think of homeless in rural area in central Nebraska, but Cheryl and I did an episode the other day outside because it was nice in this town that's not too far away, and it was in the morning, and we had people coming to use the fountain there, the nice fountain in the park to brush your teeth and everything, and it's like, wow, you just don't think of that, but no, and I think because the kids usually get the vibe, but they also get their guidance from their parents, and it just trickles down what mom and dad or the guardians are feeling. I believe it gets to the kids, and then there's really, like I told you the other day, Cheryl and I are the Leave It to Beaver people. We like the positivity in that, and but there's very little even shows on television that are really nice, like that. And I probably was not, that was probably just kind of not was that way to everybody, but we don't watch TV because it's so negative. It's just, or you see somebody being, something done to them, and it's like, why can't we have nice things? And I think all that is correlating to things that are going on in our country. And just like the other day with the gun thing, with another shooting in the school. And it's just like the guns haven't changed, but something really, really has in this country. And I think the other day, what we talked about, not being exposed to God, spirituality, all that, they have not that to fall back on. And yeah, I think it's it's not imperfect storm, but it's a lot of things coming together to show how we've kind of gone the wrong direction in this country.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we talk a lot about the need to, put God back into our society.
Yes,
And that's a big part. Part of our event here in Raleigh is going to be, bringing as many faith-based people into a big park as we can, and just saying, okay, God, obviously we're not doing the best job at helping our youth at this point in time.
Right.
We're losing them. So
Yes.
you need to inspire us. You need to help us to see what can we do, because ultimately it should be our job to be
Yes.
creating heaven on earth, right?
Yes, it is. And we're quite a ways from that. I mean,
Yes.
and I think that's one reason why I like rural. Most of the time, is still kind of very conservative, and we still have a lot of that where we know our neighbors and all that stuff. It is slowly but surely creeping in. Sometimes it's good to be on the end of a trend, and I hope it never gets a foothold here. So
We certainly hope not, because yeah, it's getting to be extremely difficult in lots of different places around the country right now. And
yes.
just the concept of having dreams. I mean, to me, when I think about some of the dreams that we've been working with and
Mhm.
such, I mean, I feel like there is a spiritual connection to them.
Yes.
And if our young people are being taught things like, well, science has never proven there's a God, so you really shouldn't really be paying much attention to that whole idea. I mean, how much is that playing a role, that our young people they're just being disconnected in every way, shape, or form. I mean, a lot of what we've done in the past 10, 15 years is we've really encouraged young people to think more like an entrepreneur. You know, it's like whatever God gave you for skills and talents, let's see if we can pull those out of you and give you an opportunity to figure out if there's a way you can make money using them. And, you know, if we were made in the image and likeness of a creator, then I think we were born to create. Wouldn't you agree?
Amen. Yes. I 100% agree. Yes.
You're creating, you're happier.
That's true. When you're creating, you're happier. It is the truth.
It is.
I mean, luckily, there's more and more in the mental health arena that's starting to utilize you know, music therapies and art therapies and, you know, things of that nature. You know, we're trying to also, you know, inject this whole idea of, well, you know, what if it's about something as simple as journaling and just allowing some of these ideas to flow out of you and get onto a piece of paper where you can look at them and go, you know, that might be a really good thing for me to take a look at.
Yes.
You know, saving people does not have to be a multi-million-dollar task.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. And I know sometimes I've been surprised how something little inspired somebody to do something, you know, and you never know who is listening to you and really watching what you're doing. And,
absolutely. Well, I'm curious because I know you've been doing your podcast for a while. I mean, do you have any really cool stories about people who've pulled those dreams out of the closet?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I have this one it has invited us to Portugal. They're originally from Canada. And Jack Murray is in his family. The dream was Jack wanted to be on a team over playing soccer. And it wasn't where he was at in Canada, wasn't really, you know, it really wasn't a good place to really get that dream. So his parents and him picked up the whole family and moved to Lisbon. And I just like, wow, that was awesome. And they didn't know Portuguese. They told me Portuguese is quite difficult to understand and learn, but they have done well. They invited us and they have a place and everything for us to be there. But the awesome thing is I talk to Jack probably about once a month. He's the one that's the 15-year-old, and he just got his team. He got put onto a team, and he's lining his dreams up and knocking them down. I mean, he's inspirational. I mean, it's just like, wow, I was not that way at 15, but yeah. And then he got hurt, and he thought maybe he was going to be in, but he's all right. But he's 15 going on 40. He's one of the most mature 15-year-olds that I've ever dealt with, you know, or I had the honor of knowing. But and a lot of people that have writing, you know, they think they want to be an author, and then it's like, you know, it's like, who's going to want to read what I have? And I've had quite a few people become authors just by starting to do a little journaling, you know, or something like that. And a lot of them with podcasting lately. So people will say, because I'm 61, and people with my age, it's just like, well, they always say I'm too old, or, you know, it's not going to be able to do that. And then it's like, you know, if he can do it, I can do it too. So, and I'm getting around here, I'm getting everybody on a podcast. So just because it's like, I think it's a way to really communicate, you know, in the 21st century, really low entry points. I talked to some people yesterday about starting a podcast, but it has been, it's just been inspiring, you know, the people that are just watching what I'm doing. And I suffered a lot from imposter syndrome. It's like, who was going to listen to me? And it's like, people do listen to me. So, but you know, even myself, I surprise myself some days when I'm doing this. It's just like, who is that person? So, but yeah, it's been great. Yeah, 3.5 years later. I would have never guessed 4 years ago I'd even be doing a podcast, but it is something that I love doing, and I love being a guest on podcasts, and just so many nice people out there that want to collaborate and do stuff like that. So it's a very good group. that I found in general.
That's amazing. Was there somebody in your circle who suggested to you that you should start a podcast, or did that kind of come into you on your own?
No, actually, I've been over the years. That was another thing. Actually, after Cheryl's cancer, I started getting coaches, and I've had 3 coaches over the years. And this last one, who's I'm friends with all of them. She was the last one that was my coach then, from Fresno, California, and she had a podcast. And I actually had met her at an event in Vegas, and she's like, "I think you would really do well with a podcast." And it's like, I would, because she'd done one for quite a few years, and it took a little while, and it's like, you don't know. If you don't try, you never know. And then look back to those painful first episodes. Oh my gosh, for one thing, you don't know. You got to start somewhere. And I was so rigid too. I had questions, and I was very rigid. And then I stopped the questions because people said it seemed insincere, and started just doing it, kind of like I do now, very laid back and stuff. But no, Crystal is her name, and I thank her all the time for giving me that suggestion, and kind of showing me the way and the ropes and everything, and how to get started on a podcast. And very supportive, very, very supportive. So she's no longer my coach, but we kind of outgrew each other. But she still keeps track of me and still supports me very, very much.
That's awesome. That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious. Do you have any big dreams that you're kind of seeing if it's time to pull them out of the closet for your future?
I do have big dreams, and that's where God's kind of directed me right now. Actually, the dream the dream keeps expanding. It's to show people, but it's to give people back their voices. Giving back their power and showing them their gift. That is kind of the direction that I'm going. That's kind of the direction God wants me to too. That He kind of directs me on that. But it's just like yesterday, He wanted me to. He's like, "Do you remember Captain Kangaroo and all those nice shows you watched when you were growing up?" It's like, yeah. He's like, "I want you to do something online that's kind of like that. That's family friendly. The kids wholesome. Something wholesome." And I told Carol that, and she's like, "Okay." So, no, I'm not much on stages. I would go on stages in front of, for kids, to help kids. I mean, I love helping kids. I mean, they are our future. And that's why this is so sad with everything's going on. But it is to show people that, and that's why most of the time when I'm showing, starting this podcast, I don't charge. I just wanted to get their voice out there. And I want to help people. I just want to help people live their best life. It's just like, because life goes by so quickly, because it seems like I was just 21. Here I am 40 years later. And but yeah, it's to put more stuff, because I always say somebody should do something like on TV or on the internet, and it's like, somebody is me, and why,
That's right.
It's like, why not? But yeah, I want to. I don't care if I'm ever known around the world, but I want to be known for, he made a difference. I hope, in a lot of people, and there's a lot of ripple, because I'm big into ripple, where you make somebody's life better, and then they can go out, and it just keeps on going out to the world,
right?
And get them to know God. And if they don't go to church, or that, maybe another way of knowing God, maybe through my podcast or something else that is coming down the line. And but yeah, God keeps giving me these ideas, and then He's like, "Okay, I gave you the idea. You can do with it what you want." So He's like, "Cheryl's artistic. She can come up with stuff." So.
You mean God doesn't hit you over the head with a 2x4 when you don't do something He suggested?
He is very much everybody's like, fearful God. I have never found that. He's always been extremely like a really nice dad, and I see him as a man. Some people say they see him, as a woman, or no, either way. But he's only gotten one thing where this one bill, he's been trying to help us with bills, and I paid this one, and he's like, "I really didn't want you to pay that bill," and it's like, "Okay, I won't pay that next time." And but he guides me. He's guided me to some people, and I don't know if we talked about it the other day, that we've been cleaning our house out and stuff, and we were taking stuff to Goodwill, and I usually took stuff to this one Goodwill, but he wanted me to go to this other one I hadn't, and it ended up being the gal that actually, she's assistant manager, and she had been on meth, and she'd been clean not very long. And I came out. I had never been there. She came out the door to take my stuff, and she gave me a hug. And it's just like, okay, this is really nice at this Goodwill. And she says, well, I think maybe you might be a prayer, answering my prayer. And she's been on my podcast, but it's just, Cheryl and I were talking a little bit ago. If you told me a year or two ago that I would have speaking the way I do about God and spirituality so much, I mean, I was raised in the church and everything, but it's never been like this. So it's awesome. It is very awesome. But no, I just coming down the line, I just want to help people. I would even do a TEDx talk if it would help. People know what's possible. And actually TED TED is awesome. They really have things to train you on all that. And, so that could be down the line too. So, and then God wants me to write a book. So, and I am not a writer. I journaling I can do, writing. Yeah. And then in one of the people on one of the episodes recently, she said, I'm really ready to read your book. And it's like, okay, so God's been working on you to work on me. So, and she came up with the idea to like do like 1,000 pages or 1,000 word, synopsis of the episode, and to get used to writing. So, there's a lot of things that are coming down the line. It's like what is today going to bring? It's just like what is I'm kind of like a kid on Christmas morning. So, what is next? And
I love it. I love it. Have you always felt like you were having these conversations with God, or is that something relatively new in your life?
Within probably the last 6 months. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, very, very recently. No, it
Wow.
was we got to the point where we didn't know because we were some of our bills weren't even being paid enough, and we actually had our electricity shut off, and I didn't know what to do, and it just I basically did it was at the end of my rope. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I mean nothing like it is now. And everybody's like, you have a conversation with him. It's like, well, not like we're having a conversation right here, but I do have a conversation with him almost every day, and I find him ornery some days, but no, it's very recently. I had never, God was that thing over there that I knew, existed, but never thought I'd have what I perceive as a conversation with him. And no, and yeah, it's awesome. And then he he tells me what to put up a lot of times on Facebook. The other day, he had me obviously become favored on Facebook because I went from like 1,000 followers to over 23,000 followers almost overnight. I mean, I was getting I don't know how many per hour, and it has slowed down now, and it's kind of moving to some of the other social medias now, which is interesting. But it's like Cheryl's like, so what did you put up differently? It's like I didn't put up anything differently on Facebook.
I was going to say, what was the magic formula?
Yeah, I wish I knew. So yeah, it was just like I couldn't believe it because it's just like I would go. It was very quick to get another 1,000 followers, and it was just per day was getting a lot of followers, and it's like, wow, this is really interesting. But no, he's been working on me on Instagram and TikTok now. And in fact, the other day I went in and to give blood for Red Cross, and I walked in and they introduced me as a TikToker and knew all about me. And it's just like, well, this is very interesting. It's just like, okay, I'm not on TikTok that much. It's probably the one I do the least, but evidently it was enough. And so they ended up I couldn't give blood, so they just had me stand and just talk to people. And it's like, I can do this. So it was awesome. They told me to come back even if I couldn't give blood the next time. It's like, okay, this is different for the Red Cross. So, had good food too.
I love it. Wow. Well, I do think, from our perspective, I do believe that God is really trying to, those who are willing to share him and glorify him to other people. I believe he's really trying to create more opportunities for people to be seen and heard. because I'll tell you, hasn't it been crazy the amount of activity we've seen around this Ignite the Spark thing?
Yes.
Oh my word. I mean, TV, radio, Roku TV, multiple podcasts. I mean,
Cool.
things that I used to try really hard to be able to make connections with people.
Yes.
And right now it's just kind of
They're coming to you.
it's like, okay.
It's
We
nice.
even found out last week we've actually got a digital billboard out here on Route 1.
Wow, that is so awesome.
So, crazy stuff that's been happening. And it's just,
Love that.
I think God's kind of on the move saying, y'all have made a mess down there long enough. In fact, that reminds me, do you ever listen to any of Dolly Parton's songs?
I do listen to, yes, I do.
Oh, she's had some good ones in the last couple of years. She had one called "Don't Make Me Have to Come Down There," and it is so good because she says that this song came to her in a dream, and that God was standing on a mountaintop going, "Y'all don't want to make me have to come down."
Yes, and I before this I wouldn't have believed that, but I do believe she did see that in her, got that in a dream, and I think he's trying to get it so he doesn't have to come down here with people working around the world. But I hope he doesn't have to come down. I hope we all kind of,
together.
But
Get it together. That's it. Yep, that's what we need to do. And and that's exactly why we have this podcast, and we're grateful for people like you who come on, because that's part of our message is who's the miracle out there?
You are.
You are. Everybody out here.
Yes.
We all are designed to be God's miracles.
Yes.
And one of the things that we talk about a lot is a belief that we were all born with a piece of a super puzzle, that if we were actively building that super puzzle piece and then coming together as humanity and clicking those puzzle pieces together, then we would be living in a world that has supreme good health, plenty of prosperity for all, and we would have peace. And the fact that we're not seeing a whole lot of any of that is pretty much evidence that too many people are still sitting on their puzzle piece.
Yeah, very true. Yes.
That's right. What was that, dear?
Sitting in the bleachers.
Yep. Too many people sitting on the bleachers watching life go by instead of being on the playing field.
Amen. Yes. Yes. I 100% agree with you.
Wow. Good deal.
Okay.
Well, we can't wait to see what kind of books you're finally inspired to write. And did I see something out there about some kind of event that you are either planning or is in the works for you?
I actually had one. The first one was 2 years ago called Impact, and it was it was educational. I just wanted to have a hands-on kind of almost like a teacher's, just to kind of intimate, where we kind of explain. And I had 3 people from Europe speak with Zoom, and Zoom worked. Zoom was very cooperating that time. And I had speakers up front, and we had kind of programs and stuff that kind of like being in school. And it was a day event. We had meals. I had vendors. I was glad the day occurred when it did, because the day kept moving, because it was just interesting. Everybody that was a speaker at the beginning when I planned the event was not the speaker at the end, except for me. And the venue changed, and just about everything changed from the time I planned it to the time it became. But it happened exactly the way it was supposed to. It was great. The people that showed up were awesome. And my sister did. And my sister definitely needs more of what I teach, and I think she's coming along on that. But she's still a ways back on the journey. And but it was I would know so much more now, like anything. But I was getting to the point, it's like, is this ever going to occur? And because the first venue where we were at was in the town that was about 30 miles away, and it was nice and it was fine. But then it was band day downtown, so we couldn't get anybody to the building. And it's just like, unless they walked quite a ways, and they didn't think that was going to be. So then I moved to my hometown, and it was just very interesting, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I got to hold court, and like I said, Zoom did really well, and people seem to enjoy it. It was very much. And I have not scheduled another one yet, but the podcast, that was really, podcast wasn't much going on that. And the podcast is taking definitely more of my time, which is great. That's where I wanted to go to. And but no, there'll be another impact. I don't know what impact looks like right now. God only knows what impact it'll look like the next one.
True.
He'll let you know when the time is right.
Yes.
Don't pass.
So, but it was good, and I was it was just like it was better than I thought it'd be. The day of, I was beginning to wonder, it's like, what's this going to be, a total flop? But it was total success, and it was perfect.
Right.
It was perfect, and so yeah, it was doing my reps, getting all the knowledge and everything that you have to get to doing anything. That's for sure.
That's a fact. We're working on really trying to document a lot of the different pieces that we've been, building in this whole Ignite the Spark, because I really hope that we'll be taking this to other cities, because the need is so great. And if we can, pull together small business owners like we are here, who all are different kinds of wellness professionals who can create a very synergistic puzzle of different ways that people can heal, and then just being able to bring people together in the prayer, in the visioning, and be able to do that in multiple locations. Those are the things that I think can really do something to help shift where we are right now. And so we're grateful for people like you, Mark. You are one of the miracles that we're all looking for. There's no doubt about that. And dear, do you have a final question here?
Yes, I got a good question. How can people get hold of you, Mark?
What's that?
How do
you get a hold of me?
Yeah.
You can get a hold of me by email, through. I'm on every social media. You can get it everywhere there. I mean, I have a phone number that has changed recently, so I can give you that. But yeah, you can Facebook, Instagram. I'm on all of them. So if you want to leave a comment saying that you want to, you can do that too. TikTok, have a YouTube channel, and so yeah, I am. I'm pretty much everywhere you normally can get a hold of somebody. Cell phone. We don't have landline anymore, but yeah, I'm pretty much everywhere anymore. In today's 21st century versions, which is nice when they all work.
That's awesome. Well, and I bet you that you're also still looking for other people to be on your podcast. Is that correct?
Yes. That is very much correct. Yes, that is. That's pretty much. I'm always on the lookout for people I think would be a good fit for the podcast. Yes.
So those are the people who are actively pursuing their dreams. Correct?
Yes. Correct.
All right.
Right.
Good deal. Well, we want to say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. And I've been very active back and forth with Mark on Facebook. He's very easy to find there. He's very much active on Messenger. So I know those are easy ways to get him. And go find him on social media, like him, comment on him, help him to explode those followers.
Yes. Amen. Thank you. And thanks for having me as your guest.
Absolutely. So thank you all for checking in with us. And don't forget, Ignite the Spark is coming up on September 21st. You can find out all the information at ignitethespark.co. And it is for in-person and virtual. So even if you're in another part of the world and you're seeing this, you can go to ignitethespark.co and register for the virtual live stream.
You mean in a different time zone?
Even in a different time zone. That's right.
It starts at what time?
Yeah, it'll be starting. Our live stream is 10 a.m. to noon Eastern time on September 21st. So wherever you are in the world, it will be recorded, but we'd love to have you in there in the live stream as well. So thank thank you all. We'll see you all next week on You Are the Miracle. Have an excellent week, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. And thank you, Mark.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.